Is this working? Sorry, hold on a second. There we go. There we go. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Untangle 101 webinar series. Today we'll be discussing what the Untangle NG Firewall product does and how it can help you in your network environment. So if you're unfamiliar with Untangle, then this is the perfect webinar for you. My name is Shannon Miles, and I will be your host today. I'm part of the product marketing team. And I also have with us our Director of Sales, Bensten, who will be doing the presentation.
Hey, everyone.
Thank you, Katie. So just a few housekeeping rules before we get started. If you have any audio issues, please just use the audio panel on the right-hand side to select your preference. If you select to use the telephone, please be sure to dial in and use the access code that is provided. Just a reminder, this webinar is being recorded, so you'll have the option to rewatch or revisit areas that you need to follow up on. And we'll also be answering questions along the way. We have a few of our team members on to help answer any questions, so please just submit them in the chat box. And as always, you can send any questions to sales@untangle.com. All right, so now I'm going to pass it over to Katie.
Great. Thanks, Shannon. And thanks for everybody who was able to join today. Over the course of the year, we've been able to do a handful of these 101 sessions, and we find that it's very helpful in giving an overview to new customers as well as customers who are interested in our product. We find that the information we provide here in the 101 gives you a good ground to stand on with looking at what we can do, the product we offer, and how we can help you as an IT administrator, a business owner, or possibly a user that can be affected by our solution. So my hope for today is that you're able to understand what business requirements you have and then use Untangle to help in figuring out what network problems can be solved with the use of our solution. So what we're going to do here is talk about who we are for a quick second. We'll go into what we do. We'll talk about NG Firewall, the overall product offering. We'll hop into a demo, and then we'll finish up today, hopefully within 30 to 45 minutes with a Q&A session, and then we will send you on your way. So hopefully it'll be beneficial. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to submit those in the question panel. We'll try to get to them. If we don't, we'll have some team members after the session follow up with you then. So. All right, so let's get into it. So who are we? Untangle was founded in 2003 with a vision of providing users a simple yet powerful way to manage their network, however, keeping it within budgetary constraints. So we wanted it to be an affordable product. We wanted it to be a user-friendly product, and I think we found success in that in multiple different industries, as you'll see as I move on through the webinar. We're located in the Bay Area in San Jose, and we have over the last few years, we've actually had some great success with government, higher education, K-12, healthcare, banking, financial, and we find a sweet spot in retail and hospitality as well. So as we move forward through the demo and on with the session, I want you to keep in mind what industry you're in, what problems you have, what requirements you have, and then as I talk through what we offer, really put the use case into your real life situation and see, oh, this might actually be something that's beneficial to me as an IT admin for my dental practice or my doctor's office or a school, whatever the case is. Wherever you are within the business field, Untangle really can help you, and I'll show you how that can happen when we move into the demo. So as you can see, we are a gateway product, so we sit in line. We're not a proxy, and what that means for you is because we sit at the gateway, it basically is going to protect all devices behind it that are connecting to the internet. It's a next generation firewall. It's powerful. It's an all-in-one security unified threat management solution. And what that allows you to do is really manage from the highest level and protect those using your internet or accessing your internet via Wi-Fi or just coming on campus or coming on within your office. So let's talk about kind of a few of the aspects of our product. It's designed to optimize layer 7 processing of all relevant protocols with policy management tailored specifically for real-world security and network management challenges. I think all of us on this call and probably even here in the office can attest that technology is always changing, viruses are always coming online, so having that extra layer of protection, not only from the endpoint side on devices, but at the gateway side to protect anything coming in and going out is really giving you peace of mind. So the NG Firewall was built as a true software firewall, meaning basically it can be downloaded for free and installed in minutes on your network. Just something to recap. Untangle just won a silver award for the most customer-friendly company of the year from the Bensten Biz Awards. We have actually attained quite a few awards over the last couple of years, and to everybody on the call, you might be aware of this if you're already a customer, but here at Untangle we actually focus on customer service. We're a small enough business that we can provide intimate service, intimate support, and we're very transparent with what we can do and what we can't do, and if we can help you, we will do our best to do so. So keep that in mind as you are possibly looking at other vendors, looking at solutions to help your environment, and we'll go from there. So we will go on to the next slide. So let's talk about, you heard a little bit about Untangle. Now you ask, how does it work? What really do I need to do, and where do I start? You might ask, where do I put this and how will it work in my existing setup? Once you've determined any of those or all of those and how you will deploy the firewall, you basically begin to create your UTM that works best for your organization. There's two ways to set up Untangle. This slide depicts both. First, let's start on the left. On the left side of the screen, you have what we call a transparent bridge mode. In transparent bridge mode, Untangle is installed behind the existing firewall and sits between your existing firewall and a main switch. When in bridge mode, Untangle is transparent, meaning you won't need to change any default gateway settings or computers on your network and routes in your firewall. Basically, you just untangle between your firewall and your main switch, and that's it. Now, if that doesn't work for you and you need to use it specifically as a router firewall, if this is more conducive for your needs, Untangle will then be the edge device on your network and serve as a router and the firewall. In this case, you will need to set up your external and internal interfaces correctly for traffic to flow. With each of these deployments, the features are the same, but you would benefit based on possible existing, an existing environment or an existing firewall that you already have in place. I do want to mention again that Untangle is not a proxy. It cannot be set up as a proxy. It is an inline filter, and all traffic must flow through the Untangle device in order for it to be filtered. So keep that in mind as you look at these options and figure out what works best for you. Shannon, do we have any questions at this time? Do you see anything coming through? I think we're getting kind of into the part of the presentation, and I think I want to, speed up if not. Into the demo. So if not, we'll move on.
Not yet.
Okay, great. So on this page you have 5 different categories, actually 6, but really it's broken down into 5 categories. This is really what Untangle is made up of. If you were to break Untangle down into specific categories, you'll find that if you're focused on protection, if you're focused on filtering, performance, something slow on your network and you're trying to figure out why your bandwidth is being hogged, connections between remote sites, or just managing based on existing Active Directory, or you want to set up policies based on levels within your environment. Untangle really is able to focus in on each of these areas as well as the overall problem of network management. So rather than going through each of these specifically, let's hop into the demo so that I can show you really what's happening within all 5 of these categories. It'll be a little more clear, I think. So Shannon, if you want to hop over and pass me on the go. All righty. All righty. So I think everybody can see my screen. Hopefully not. If you can't, please speak up or send a chat box note, and we'll get it fixed. But everybody should be able to see it. So if you're not familiar with Untangle, this is the interface. This is as simple as it gets. It basically is an overview of what the product offers. It's a virtual rack, so to speak. You've got your apps over here. You've got your configurations here with all of your network management tools. And then in the center of your rack, as we call it, is all of your apps. In this case, this is actually a demo server we have set up, so all of the apps are in the rack already. However, a little bit later in the presentation, I'll show you basically starting with a blank slate and creating the rack, or the UTM that you need specifically for your environment. At the top here, you have some data points to look at. This is all based on your hardware. You can look at your CPU load. You can look at your sessions, your hosts, your network traffic, and the memory. So all of these are just kind of specific to your environment, to your deployment, and all of these are going to be changing, from time to time. So again, this is the rack, so to speak, and if you notice, there are applications here at the top, which is what I'm scrolling over here now. And then if you scroll to the bottom of the rack, you've got services. So we've got applications and services broken down within the rack. The applications are, you can modify those specifically to individuals or IP ranges, and basically create whatever policies you need. The services, so to speak, are really relevant to everybody and the overall network itself. So your reporting will be available for all IP addresses or all ranges for any device that's connecting to your network. And we'll go over these a little bit more in depth as we go through. Of course, we don't have time to spend, on each app, granularly, but I'll do my best to give you an overview, give you some use cases for the apps, and then if you need additional time, we can set up something on the side with one of the team members here at Untangle to talk specifically about your needs. So that's my hope. As we move through, we'll find a sweet spot for you specifically and go from there. So let's talk about Web Filter. That's kind of the heart and soul of Untangle and what we sell. We are a firewall. We are a content filter. So this really is going to be what your majority of your needs are going to be when coming to Untangle. From the rack, if you just click on settings, it really is, it brings it up, and then this is where you would configure everything. So let's talk about it. Web Filter basically monitors HTTP traffic on your network to monitor user behavior and block inappropriate content. Untangle's Web Filter also appeals to customers who require an added level of protection, or they have federal requirements or state requirements such as SIPA compliance for library schools, or maybe you just have a policy based on your corporate handbook that requires filtration. A lot of people don't think about the liability that comes into play with internet access, and even though you don't think it's important, somebody else could think it's important. So I think it's great to keep in mind what content filtering can do for you, specifically as an admin or a user, but also from a business perspective. How can you protect your company and keep productivity up so that everybody can be the most productive and still work in a great environment. So if we talk about Web Filter a little bit more, you see here that we can block categories. We have 140 categories within our database. We've got 450 plus million URLs in our database that continually grows. It's dynamically updated based on new websites coming online, and that comes from whoever is using our product. We do have a third-party vendor that we work with, or we have an agreement with, and they really are updating on the fly new websites. So you really do benefit from any added URL to the World Wide Web. Excuse me. So blocking categories. I like to explain this a little bit more in depth for those who aren't aware of Untangle. So within the filtering, you have the block and the flag checkboxes here. Blocking is what it means. It basically blocks websites based on these categories that you have here, predefined. And then flagging, this is a great tool for admins or if you are installing the Untangle yourself, you really want to look at what's happening on your network from an overall view. Flagging will still allow access to certain sites, but what it's going to do is it's going to give your admin or yourself a report of flagged views. So if it's flagged under abortion, so to speak, let's just take the top one here, and somebody in your organization or school decided to go look at Planned Parenthood or something along those lines, it would still flag it as this is where this customer or this end user IP address is visiting. So they'll still have access. And what I like to tell those new to Untangle is this really does tell you what's happening versus taking the initial approach of blocking everything and denying access to certain areas. You can modify and manage your network based on real life and real time traffic. So keep that in mind when you're looking through. By default, Untangle does have some blocked and flagged categories just based on real world situation, but again, it's as easy as clicking and unclicking to figure out what works best for you. So these are the block sites. Let's talk about, the block categories, and then we can block sites. So basically, if you have, you can create a running list here. It's as simple as clicking adding your site here. What you can do here is add a description based on your employee handbook, your use case policy. You're not allowed to go here because it's against rules or regulations, whatever the case is. You really can make up that description and then block and flag based on that. We block sites. You can block file types, MIME types, and what these are basically is just a block here. You can block exe files, PDF files, JPEG files, MP3, that sort of thing. And again, within the block sites and block file types and MIME types, you have the block and flag ability within WebFilter. Some people might ask, well, that's all good and well, but what if I want to pass sites, or what if I want to create a whitelist, or allow specific customers, or my CEO of my company, or the doctor, or the principal full access to do whatever they need to do. If it's not specific to a certain site that you want to regulate here, you can actually set up a pass client based on an IP address specifically, or if you had an IP range for all exec management or all staff, however you want to do it. It's really you have the world at your fingertips with this WebFilter module, and I think you can, if you don't already see the potential here, if you just play around with it, you'll definitely get the visibility there. So that's kind of WebFilter in a nutshell. Let's talk about reports. I think it's important to speak on reports. We actually just released a newer version of reports a few months ago. It is actually a great addition to the overall product. It's going to tell you anything and everything that you need to know on your network. Again, let me preface this by this is a demo server here at the Untangle headquarters. So this is real-time traffic, but not specific to any users here at Untangle. So what it does is you have the ability to change the graph here. As you'll see as we go through the demo, the reports are actually within the features in the apps themselves. You can have an overall view of the reports, or you can have specified WebFilter reports or bandwidth control reports, and I'll show you kind of where that lives within each feature. So modifying is not hard. We have default reports here over on the left-hand side that you can run. You can, uncheck based on color or content, television versus movies. You can really create the graph that you want, and all of the information is there. It's just the amount of time that it's going to take to kind of figure out what you need first, and then figuring out what report will give you that information to bring to your management team. Again, you've got the default reports here, and then you also have conditional formatting. So if you don't see a report in the default report, you can actually create your own. And this is a great case for, you have a specific user or a problem child, or your bandwidth is being sucked up by this one user on a daily basis or a weekly basis, and you really need to keep an eye on that one specific user. or they're visiting sites they shouldn't be on a daily basis, and you need to have an HR conversation with this person. Setting up a specific report for that IP address or that user can be done with conditional formatting, and again, it's based on all the protocols here. It would just be following the steps here to create that report that you need. So in an essence of time, I will just kind of give you an overview of the report. There is a ton of information here. It can be filtered, it can be granular as much as you need, and if you have any questions on that, we're happy to help you get some stuff set up. So I will move on from web filter, but again, keep in mind that the reports are a great tool for you. So back to the interface. Web filter is at the top. You can see the traffic flowing through it. Let's talk about Virus Blocker. I'm not going to focus on all of the features, but I will give you a quick snapshot of what that feature can do, and hopefully you'll spend some more time after this session going through in more detail, whether it be with a 14-day trial or with a demo with myself or one of my team members, going over kind of use case in your situation. So Virus Blocker transparently scans HTTP traffic, FTP, and SMTP traffic to protect your network from viruses, trojans, or malware. It scans and archives, zip files, and more. So Virus Blocker really leverages an award-winning antivirus engine. If you're not familiar, it's Bitdefender, and we have hundreds of millions of users worldwide. So it's a great addition to our product, and it's highly regarded based on the need, especially from the gateway level. So you've got Virus Blocker. Spam Blocker is an intelligent email filter. It basically identifies spam. It leverages the technology from Spam Assassin. It's a project that improves upon the integration of this commercial spam engine. It can scan emails that are transported via SMTP. So it basically transparently scans emails transported over SMTP on the way to your mail server. It does not require any reconfiguration of your records nor your email server. So any SMTP traffic going through Untangle server will be scanned. That is a nice addition as well. So let's talk about web cache for a second. Web cache actually provides HTTP content caching. Traffic passing through the Untangle server will be transparently cached. This will both save bandwidth by serving repeat content from the local cache, or improving the experience of loaded cache sites a little bit faster than you normally would see. So we'll talk about kind of what you get with the complete package, but as I move through these, keep in mind that yes, you might not necessarily use all of these, but you do have the ability to see if they work well in your network. Another feature that I actually want to give a little bit more attention to is our bandwidth control feature. This gives you the power to monitor and control bandwidth usage on your network. It can be used to ensure that your network continues to operate smoothly and that bandwidth is shared optimally based on what's important to you as an organization. Many organizations, just like yourself, struggle with bandwidth problems such as students watching online videos or clients using BitTorrent, while the most important tasks like accounting, payroll, possible demo webinars for your sales team, whatever the case is, those actually tend to take the back seat when it comes to bandwidth. And by using bandwidth control, you really are reprioritizing what's important to you as a business and what you want to allow in your network. The use of bandwidth control basically assigns data transfer quotas to users, guaranteeing bandwidth, punishing unauthorized users, and prioritizing or deprioritizing sites specific to, like I just mentioned, BitTorrent, peer-to-peer, and of the like. So again, setting up the bandwidth control is not hard. If you don't want to, if you're not familiar with utilizing this, or you need some additional questions, again, within the interface itself, if you follow down here to the left-hand corner, if you click on Help, it actually takes you to our online wiki. So if you want to play around during your 14-day trial, or you want to install bandwidth control and just want some help on setting up quotas or possibly setting up a penalty box for a trouble end user or an IP, you know, we can help you from our side, but also our wiki actually has a lot of information for you too. So moving on, let's talk about HTTP Inspector. This is a special application that allows other Untangle applications and services that use HTTP traffic to also process encrypted HTTP traffic. It does this by performing a man-in-the-middle attack, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. It's typical across the industry in its efforts, and basically the man-in-the-middle style decrypts and encrypts the HTTP traffic, passing the encrypted HTTP traffic through the Untangle server for inspection by other applications and services. So adding this works in conjunction with our web filter. Legacy web filters were not able to promote HTTPS traffic and or protect from it, and now this is a great add to Untangle. It's kind of unique to our solution in the way that we do it, and it's really synergistic to what the overall offering is from Untangle. So, you know, I highly suggest checking this out if you are not already using it. This can be a little overwhelming in terms of the interface, but I think the rules and setting these up really are intuitive, and you'll be able to find success in this. Again, our support team is here to help you. Our sales team is happy to help you answer any questions specifically, and again, we always want to hear how Untangle is working well for you, and if it's not, then we want to correct it. Moving on, application control allows servers to accurately identify thousands of today's common applications, such as social networking, peer-to-peer, instant messaging, video streaming, file sharing, however you use certain areas of the internet. Applications can basically let's talk about a use case for this one. I think it's easier to understand versus talking about the specs on the product. If you are a school or a marketing firm or just a simple business office, application control can help you in this way. Facebook is, you know, known worldwide, and a lot of people use it for social networking, but I think it can also be beneficial to marketing teams for responding to customers, or sales teams to respond to customers. But you don't want to allow access to the full Facebook site. What application control can do is allow certain areas of an application or a URL available to your employees or your staff. So Facebook, you can allow posts to happen or comments to be answered. However, they can't download movies or watch the videos or play games on Facebook. So that's kind of a real-life situation and how application control can help you. But what it does is it has a list of a ton of applications that you can just check. And here's, you know, I'm just scrolling through the list here, but there's a ton. BitTorrent's on there, YouTube's on here, UltraSurf, Skype is on here. You know, those are the real-life situations or use cases where application control can help you and benefit in keeping certain areas protected. Again, rules and reports are you're going to find within all of the features. They are specific to the application that you're in line with. It's just as easy as changing some information around or setting up again, like I mentioned, the conditional formatting to kind of give you the information that you need. So a little bit, just a couple more minutes here on the demo. I will close out in just a few minutes, but I just wanted to touch on a couple of other areas. Policy management is a huge feature within Untangle. If you are not using policy management, or you have a need to separate out rules or policies based on users within your organization, let's say you have teachers versus students at your school, you have interns versus your exec management team, or you have a hierarchy at your company and you need to have specific rules for individuals. Policy management is that tool for you. We do integrate with Active Directory, as you saw there on the previous screen, Directory Connector. We integrate with Active Directory and Radius, so you can use that, or if you don't have either of those, you can utilize the local directory here within Untangle's interface itself. So setting up a policy is easy. Let's just do one real quick here on the demo. So if I did, I'm just going to do a test rack. You would put your content or your description here, and I'm just going to put something in here just for today. But in essence of time. And what policy management can do for you is that it can save you time, one. It can also specialize or manage specific needs. So if I was to click parent, basically inheriting the parent rack or the default rack, you're basically inheriting the settings that you have at your default rack and allowing modifications to happen at that level. So what I'm going to do here is actually just click none, because I want to show you how Untangle the interface starts when you set it up. So I'm going to click done here, then I'm going to click apply, and you see that the new rack is listed here, and I'm going to apply those rules. But because I didn't inherit anything, it actually doesn't have any of the features in it. I'm sorry, you know, I did it backwards. I apologize. If I go back to the test rack, now you see that all of the features are over here in the app section. So let's talk about a real life situation. You've got a teacher versus student rack. This is your student rack that you're setting up. Your default rack happens to be your parent or your teacher rack. It's as easy as installing the features here. So we install that, we install this, HTTPS, bandwidth control, and it really moves from the left-hand side of the rack into the right, to the center rack. This is really your starting point and how you're going to configure this specific policy or set of rules for your students. And then again, you would go into each of the modules and then configure based on the needs for that specific group. That's as easy as setting up a policy. There's no limit on that. You can set up however many you need, and it really is helpful with determining different levels of access to the internet across your organization. WAN Balancer and WAN Failover is simply that. WAN Balancer balances traffic across internet providers, and then WAN Failover automatically detects when internet outages happen and switches to a backup provider. So that's a great feature if you have needs there. Keeping everybody in line and online is priority these days. So those are great tools that are added in as well. How are we doing on time, Shannon?
I think we're doing all right. We have a few more slides to go through, and then we want to answer some questions.
Okay, so great.
You're wrapping up.
Sure. Let me just talk about one last cool feature. A lot of us these days have multiple offices, or we have multiple sites that we need users to connect to. Remote workers. Remote working is huge these days, and I think having the ability to connect back to a main site for data, for access to the internet. If you provision hardware devices from your organization, IPsec VPN actually is a great feature that you can allow remote workers to still maintain productivity and allow them access to what you want to allow them access to, and not basically open up their access when they're home. So this is a great tool for schools if they use Chromebooks. If you provision Chromebooks to your 5th graders and they take those home and they have to do homework assignments, the policies and settings that you set up from your Untangle interface for those Chromebooks, specifically through IPsec VPN, those Chromebooks have to maintain the policies that you set forth from your main site. So that's protecting your students on campus as well as when they're at home. So that's a great tool. It works the same way in a business situation. You provision laptops, mobile devices, iPads, whatever they're like, to your employees, and you want them to, you don't want to become liable for somebody seeing something that they're not supposed to when they're off campus. IPsec VPN really allows you to set up these tunnels, forcing them back to the main Untangle for network management. So I think that's a quick and dirty of what Untangle can do for you. And I think as we move on, I will pass it back to Shannon so that she can finish up with the slides and give you some product information, and we'll answer a couple more questions before we end for the day.
All right. So just want to reiterate, we do have some packages available. I know Katie went through a lot of these individual apps, and of course, budget is always a concern for everyone, I think, out there. So we offer a couple of different packages. The complete package is our completely full set of every application that we have, as well as any new applications that we release in the future. And our NG Firewall features really work well together. And if you're considering purchasing, 2 or more individual applications, then your best money-saving option is purchasing the complete package. We also have some options for public sector. For those of you that are qualifying state and local government or public school or library, you will get the complete package at a reduced price. And same thing for nonprofit complete. If you are a qualifying not-for-profit, NGO, private school, or religious organization, same thing, you get the complete package at a reduced price.
Shannon, let me just hop in and remind you that we actually offer one complete package. So the public sector complete and the nonprofit complete package are the exact same in terms of the feature set. The added value comes in when you look at the cost savings for these qualifying institutions. So just keep that in mind. You're still getting the same benefits of the regular complete package. You're just getting, you have the option to save a little bit more money just given your institution or your qualified.
All right, so let's take a few minutes, answer some questions. I know we're not going to go get through them all today. And also, I know Chad is busy on the Q&A trying to answer everyone's questions. Here's some that kept popping up. How does Untangle count licensing? Is it by devices or is it by people?
Sure, that's actually one of the top questions that are asked. And everybody has their own way of licensing. So at Untangle, our licensing is done based on device count or unique IP address. So specifically speaking, any connected device to the internet through the Untangle. So you're looking at desktops, laptops, mobile devices, servers. We don't count printers, fax, or scanners. Those can be set on the bypass list. So that really is going to be your where you want to start with kind of figuring out where Untangle falls for licensing. Count all of your devices. It is concurrent within a 24-hour period. So in speaking, you might have a computer lab with 30 devices, but you've got 500 students that use those 30 devices. You really only need to protect 30 of those, you'll license for 30. Hopefully that helps to explain it, but if you have any questions on licensing and how, if you have Wi-Fi setups and, there are use cases for everybody specifically, give us a call. Let's figure out what works best for you.
All right, so there's some question about appliances, whether they need to purchase our appliance, they can use their own.
Sure.
Shed some light on that.
Yeah, as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, Untangle was founded as a software offering. Throughout the years, we found the need for hardware appliance, through our customer base. But that doesn't mean that you can't necessarily still use your own hardware. If you have an existing server or something that's just kind of sitting around and it meets the required 2 NICs and you can use it as a dedicated server, then by all means go ahead and use that. If not, we actually do offer our appliances. You will need a dedicated server to run Untangle. Let me just make sure that that's clear. It's just a software offering. You can download the software, but you will have to install it on a dedicated server. Whether that's yours or ours, it doesn't matter, and we're happy either way as long as it works well for you.
Great, thanks, Katie. Just a few more questions. I know we're running short on time.
Sure.
And all these questions are coming in. So some questions about these applications and testing them out, since a lot of them are paid applications. Is there an option to test them out?
Sure. From the Untangle website, if you go, I believe it says download. If you click on download and then you look at the products themselves, install Untangle as an ISO, put it on a dedicated server, install Untangle in the rack, and then put your paid features. There is a 14-day trial for all of our paid features. What that allows you to do is test it before you, basically drive before you buy, so to speak. We're happy to help you during that trial period, but you must have a trial installed for us to answer questions specifically to setting up your Untangle. So feel free to give that a try. We do have monthly 1, 3, and 5-year options in terms of pricing. So if if you're not ready to dive in yet, feel free to use that 14-day trial to test it out. If you're still not ready, go with that monthly option to make sure that everything's still running smoothly, and then let us know and we can help you move on to a longer term. So sure.
We do have a few requests about being able to see a more specialized demo that can help show how it would work in perhaps some people are saying a hotel or a school. I'm sure you can definitely set a demo up for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the next slide, I think there's one final slide here. We have some resources. Excuse me. If you are interested in a demo specifically to talk about your needs, if you have IT staff that you think would benefit with Untangle and they have specific questions to how to deploy it, let's hop on a demo with either myself or somebody here at Untangle. We'll go over the use case for you specifically in your organization. We can talk about how Untangle can benefit you in real life time. Let's talk about some issues you're running into. And it can be really centered towards you specifically in your environment offline. We can really focus in on specific needs at your organization better than we can here in the overall demo, and I think you'll benefit more. So feel free to email us at sales@untangle.com, and we can set up something that works best for you in your time schedule.
Okay, great.
Thank you for that question. That's a great one.
Yeah, so sorry, got to cut this a little short. I know some of your questions haven't been answered. Please just email us and we'll be glad to follow up with that. And we'll also post a lot of these questions are great, and we post them on the wiki and the forums just to help other users as well. So just before we wrap this up, I want to mention that we have a sweepstakes going on currently. Untangle wants to raise network security awareness with a retweet to win sweepstakes on Twitter. The sweepstakes has already started December 1st, but it's going until the 16th, so there's still plenty of time to join. And it's super simple. You just go onto our Untangle Twitter page, and we will tweet an IT tip every day at 8 a.m. Pacific time. You simply have to retweet it, and you're automatically entered to win. We have daily winners, and they're drawn randomly, and you can check out all the details on our blog, on our website at untangle.com, and it's the first blog there. So we hope that you will participate in the sweepstakes. And let's see, so questions, if you have any other questions, as I mentioned again, you can always contact us at sales@untangle.com as well as support@untangle.com. You can call us. Katie mentioned we can set up a one-on-one demo. We have some resources. Obviously our website. We also have wiki and forums. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Katie, for the excellent demo and explanation. Hopefully this session was very informative to you and helps you in your decision on finding a solution for you.
Awesome. And thanks, Shannon.
Yeah.
And thanks again for everybody who joined. We appreciate your time and look forward to getting Untangle in your environment, or at least seeing if we can help you in some areas.
Yep. And we hope to see you next time. We will have more webinars in 2016.
That's right. It's the end of the year.
Yeah. So we look forward to
We made it.
And have a great holidays and Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Take care, guys.